Hey, this is Scott, and I'm going to riff a little bit. This is not a planned video I didn't write this out. I didn't think about this. This is not a marketing strategy, and I'm not trying to get anything out of this. I'm actually just being a creative. I'm leaning into my artistic side and my visionary side, and I'm just going to talk about a couple of things that I'm seeing in the world right now. So, buckle up. This is what that is, and I hope you enjoy my little discussion on high vibes and when things go dark. So, I don't know about you, but I woke up today and I did notice some interesting feels. And part of me wanted to immediately go to Reiki and start to run the energy and allow things to move into a flow so I would feel better. I want to feel better because I want to do my work and I want to walk around and feel good about walking around. And that's okay, right? It's okay to do that. And also, there is a part of me that was questioning why I felt that way and what it was that I was experiencing. Was it internal? Was it my stuff? From my weekend, seeing, traveling and going to new places and being exposed to new elements and old relationships? Or was it something in the stars? Was it something happening with the moon or the planets or some sort of configuration in which I have to go look at an astrology person to say, what the hell is happening? Or was it seasonal? Was it the shift in weather for what's happening? I was in Northern California and it got to 95. And then as we traveled, it reached up into the hundreds. And then we got into Los Angeles and wow, it's only 72 degrees today, right? So it could be that because I went from sunshine and heat into, like this kind of misty, overcast Los Angeles. All of those things can affect mood, right? And I say all those things because I think it's important to understand that when we're talking about energy, we're not just talking about something that comes out of the sky or comes from angels or comes from spirit guides or deity, right? When I'm talking about energy, I'm talking about these aspects too. I personally feel my emotions are energies. And more than that, there's something very intimately derived from myself, and they are a voice. They're something that I should listen to. So I like to, when I experience energy that seems out of place and I feel a little wonk, right? I like to say, what am I feeling and what just happened for me in the last few days? And could this be influencing what's happening now, right? So that's a good time for journaling. If you were going to do Reiki, that's a good time to just sort of put your hands on yourself and say, hey, I love you. How are you doing? Is everything okay? Are you all right? No? Okay, what is that? And then start to explore what those things are and really feel the feelings or feel the things. I think feeling is a very important word when we're talking about ourselves, especially with the experiences that may stir up things for us and cause strong feelings, positive, uplifting emotions and those we deem as negative, and just say, what is this? How do I feel about it? Can I sit with that? Can I breathe through it? Can I write about it? Am I overindulging in it? Do I just need to get up and, get on my feet, get up and make it happen, get out there and do something about it, change the scenario? Or is it something that I may have picked up from somebody else? Therefore, it's not mine. It is, because everything in my consciousness is part of my consciousness, but it's not, because it wasn't my experience that was happening. I saw something disturbing, which caused me to be disturbed, and I might be carrying that energy because I feel out of a space of compassion that I might want to hold it for whoever. But either way, whether it's myself or something that I picked up from somebody else, it's up to me to address what it is that I'm feeling and hold it, right, and let it go in the way that's right, correct, through whatever my practice or your practice might be. So that's one thing I have to ask myself. And then I go, okay, maybe maybe I need to look up one of my favorite people, on one of the socials to see what their daily astrology is saying, um, and understand through the lens of their experience and expertise what it is that's happening in the stars, and say, okay, so yeah, I did have these things, but I'm in an atmosphere which is activating these kind of energies for me, right? So maybe I need to then do something magically that might, I like to sort of like appease the planets, be like, hey babe, I know you're going through something right now. Can I send you, this half dozen roses, this sweet lavender or lilac or something like that to sort of sweeten the energy of the planet, which is both an external operation. I'm doing magic. Magic is this, I'm operating with these forces outside of myself. Planets are basically, like weather patterns in certain ways, and we're going to experience rainy days, stormy days, and there might be a stormy planet happening right now, or configuration. I'm not an astrologer. I like to talk astrology because it's very interesting to me, but it's not my forte. I go to other people for that. You've seen my socials, you know who I go to. But I understand enough to know that if I'm experiencing that energy, and it's evoking these thoughts or feelings, I have a handle on something. And as a witch, I can twist that, right? Because I'm cunning, right? I'm cunning with my love and power. And I can twist that into something and use it to my benefit, which might be to take a harsh energy and understand that it's asking me to do what? This is where tarot cards or oracles can come in, or self-examination journaling. But like, let's just say it's like some kind of Moon, Cancer, Mars aspect, and so I feel moody and hot, right? And I got the angry reds, right? Like, and so I can do something which is both self-reflective, and also, because this is helpful, I could do something to appeal to the moon and Cancer and Mars, burning planetary incenses, or dressing in appropriate colors, or carrying stones that might resonate with those planetary frequencies, maybe doing a little candle ritual. One of those kind of things, even if it's just, hey, spirit team, my allies who walk with me, deity or whatever it is that I do, help me to like modulate this energy, like, go out and around me, and this is the job that I need right now. I need to walk around in the world, and this is wonky, right? Like, help me to understand this and walk with it and work with it. Planets can evoke personal things because that's what they do in astrology, because we all have a chart, we all have connections, and so they may bring up certain qualities. Well, and again, you probably want to refer to your own astrological chart of your person for that, but that's a thing that we can do with it. And then there might be something seasonally. There is changes that happen in forests physiologically and psychically as the seasons change. We explore this in the mythic Wheel of the Year, but also the literal Wheel of the Year. As seasons change, people change. And so we might need to do something dietarily, or as far as physical activity, understand our own personal like rhythm, like our own biological signature of energy in relationship to nature of the world around us. And that is, have a conversation with that or adjust. So in all of those three places, the energy can get high and buzzy and beautiful, and I can have all of the great, like springtime feels or summertime feels, or all of the good qualities that we like, that we assign as good, or it can get dark and stormy or dry and terrible, and whatever the thing is that we want to call it, like however you want to name it personally. I'm just sort of throwing words out, but it can feel contrary to how we'd like to feel. What I always like to suggest is have the conversation, right? I'm a Reiki practitioner. Like, I know what it's like to call in an organizing energy that might modulate things for me in a healthier way, right? And it's not about steamrolling over any experience, because that's really not what Reiki's about. It's not about bypassing anything, because that's really not what Reiki's about. Reiki's really about holding things and allowing those energies to mix with those higher energies so that we can be illuminated. The fires of Reiki might burn away what doesn't serve or what doesn't work, but it also brings light. It brings activity and warmth, which may engage us to feel empowered to go out and do something or rest. That's also a part of Reiki. But I also practice witchcraft. And witchcraft for me is really a lot about conversations and relationships and understanding that the spiritual world is not here at my beck and call, but in fact, it's here in relationship with me. Not always for me, but with me, because we're in the same bubble. We're in the same sphere. We're on the same mama, right? We're in the same place where this is all happening. So it's easy, and I'm not saying that this is wrong, because sometimes it is the right way to do things. There's lots of great things, about affirmations, positive psychology, activating in a healthy and proactive direction. And there are times and places where that's important. But sometimes the time and place asks us to stop and not go high, right? Because we're not talking about a moral thing here. It might cause us to stop and maybe question if we need to go deep and heavy and dark. Because that's also part of the magic. That's also part of the experience. That's also part of the relationship. It's not always, in any relationship, going to be happy. And it's not always going to make us feel good. And it's not always going to be for our benefit. All of those things are very self-centered schools of thought when applied generally and broadly as an absolute to everything. We want to be advocates for ourselves, and we also understand that in our advocacy and in our need for what we want to do, we need to understand that we're in a relationship with these other forces and powers, which may be influencing the way we feel, but it's not all about our feelings. Yet, with magic, with something like witchcraft, we can tap into that heavy, we can tap into that dark, and we can do something rich and creative, understanding. One of the things that comes to mind today is that that relationship as an example of what witches do. We work with plants, but some of the most famous plants associated with witchcraft are baneful plants. Well, I'm not advocating anyone to go out and take a baneful plant. I'm using it as an example of what it can mean, that some things that are poisons can be medicines, right? And some things that are medicines can be poisons. So too much high vibes, too much positivity, too much only good thoughts, too much of that sweetness becomes saccharin. That sweetness becomes toxin, right? So when the day asked, and I felt like today really asked me, when the day asked, what are you going to do with this heavy feeling? I didn't want that because I just came back from a little family vacation, or a little trip in which I saw family, my mother and father. You saw photos if you were on my Instagram and Facebook. And that was wonderful and sweet. What does it mean? So I took to pen. That was my speaker turning off. I took to a little beep in the back. I took to pen and paper, and I wrote. I really like to write. I'm not going to go into journaling and why that's so important, but it is, I will say that. And I was like, yeah, I have feels about these things. These are the things that I'm going to hold myself for right now. I'm going to spend 10 minutes on that. I'm going to be a little extra gentle with myself and acknowledge that. I like to write things and put it on the altar behind me. That's a great way to acknowledge those things. And also, there's something else going on. There's something else going on. I look at my friend, I look at a few friends and their pages, and I can see that the timing and transits of things. And I'm like, yeah, there's some heavy happening. So what is it that I need to do? I'm going to have conversations with myself. I'm going to have conversation with the worlds. I'm going to have conversations with the stars. I'm going to light some candles. I'm going to twist this energy. I'm going to grab this pattern, right, that seems to be occurring for me, because not everything that comes out of spirit I must do, right? I'm going to grab it and I'm going to twist it in the way which I know, empowered in my soul of love and wisdom, that I'm going to take this and I'm going to do something else with it. I'm going to do something that allows me to both feel what it is that's occurring and also activate me in a way to go the right direction for myself at this time. And that's what I'm doing today. So what does it really look like? What did I end up doing, right? You know, I said I'm going to wear my smart witchy hat. Everyone's always asking me where I got this. I actually got it at Target. I did some meditations, and this is my speaking hat, right? And I'm going to wear this one that I got from Spiritus Arcanum, this is my heart speak goat jaw that was very beautifully decorated and magically done by Matthew Venus. And I'm going to wear these, and I'm going to walk around with a little authority in my world, like I'm here to do something about something, and I'm going to listen, and that's what I'm going to do. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to clean my room. I'm going to have a little coffee. I'm going to spend time with my dog, and I'm going to refresh my altars, so that as I approach the new moon and I go to do magic, to plant some new seeds, because I got some new seeds to plant, that's for sure. I'm ready, right? I'm ready. And then suddenly, when I landed there, all the heaviness of the day became not like this hot lead anymore, right? It was this warm flow, activated purpose. It's easy, sometimes it's necessary to go into a high space. That brings us perspective. That brings us sometimes refreshment. But oftentimes, I remind myself that it's better to just ask what it is that I need in this right now, and deal with, hold with, work with, and twist the energy of the now, so that I am both in relationship with it, and I understand what it means for me and what I can do with it, even if it's just to sit and breathe. What happens when we go into the heavies? What happens when we feel that heavy energy, right? What do you do? How do you work with it, right? Are you using escape routes? Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes we need to escape from the heavies. Are you instead working with it creatively? Are you an artist? Could you be one? Are you singing? Are you seeing friends? Are you giving hugs? Are you with pets, making good foods in the garden? There's lots of things to do. Yeah, so that's my riff for today. That's my poetry. That's my pagan poetry. I had lots of song references on this one. I don't know why, but that's what I'm going to go with. This is my gift for today, which is conversation and what I'm bringing forward. When the energy is heavy, I don't always escape. Sometimes I take it and I twist it and I do something creative. I do that creative twist through conversation. That conversation is first with myself, and then maybe with the universe, to understand how I feel, understanding what is mine and what is not. But what I'm aware of is always something that I'm sort of responsible for, right? Some proper magic energy work there. And maybe you go high. Maybe it is for you to escape. I don't know. It's up to all of us to decide. Thanks for watching. This is Scott Smith. My channels are all through my link tree. Although if you went to any of my websites, you can find all kinds of things there. thesacredother.com is my primary website for my personal practice. starandstone.llc.com is where writing and other things are offered. I've got some practitioners there as well that I know. And yeah, and any of those portals, if you just sort of Google Scott Smith on like Instagram or Facebook, you'll find me there, whatever. I'm not trying to get follows or likes. I'm just saying this is how you find me if you're interested in more that I have to say. I'm gonna stop rambling now. I'm gonna start working on those altars. I'm gonna play some good music, and enjoy the rest of my day. I hope you're well. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be.